Hello, my name is Russell Myers, independent for U.S. President for 2024. A recent report by Bloomberg details that 20 million American households um, are behind on their utility bills. Not 20 million individuals, 20 million households. That is 1 in 6 U.S. households. If we consider the U.S. population to be 330 million, that means 55 million Americans are at risk of losing their electrical service. I'm going to be completely honest and state that I am personally in favor of nationalizing the entire energy sector. That will sound shocking to some. I am not making this an actual policy proposal at this time because I seriously doubt that I could accomplish that feat in 1 or even 2 terms in office. The opposition to this is extremely powerful and well funded. What I can promise is to raise awareness of the benefits of doing so, making it more likely to happen in the future. Something that expansive requires public awareness, debate, and support before it can happen. If that happened, the cost of electricity bills would be reduced for everyone because you would not be paying for corporate profits on top of the expense of the energy itself. Workers would still be paid the same or even more. Meanwhile, there would be no barriers to inspections of equipment as there are now. There would be no cost-benefit analysis factored into making equipment and processes which reduce energy security and workers' safety. The energy industry has many injuries and fatalities every year, many of which are highly preventable. The same is true for environmental disasters, of which the taxpayer picks up most of the cost of cleaning up. In recent years, we have seen a massive blackout and heating shortage in Texas during the coldest winter in decades. This was preventable. It was caused by the corporate energy and gas producers deciding that the equipment which could have prevented that catastrophe was not worth the investment. Then they increased rates to levels which left residents, many on fixed incomes, with debts which they will still be paying for years. Not long ago, California had a huge wildfire which destroyed thousands of square miles of forest and destroyed hundreds of homes. That was also preventable, caused by inadequate prevention. It was caused by an electrical fire. It also resulted in widespread blackouts. Aside from environmental damage and the obvious dangers, blackouts cause dangers to human lives, even documented deaths. They cause suffering and loss of income. They can cause small businesses to fail because of lost revenue. For employees of large employers, they result in lost wages because the employer is not likely to pay wages lost, even though the workers were not at fault. This may cause workers to be unable to afford food, medications, rent, and debt payments. Unless legislation is passed, residents can be evicted with nowhere to go. If not evicted, they will still be catching up on debts which they did not plan on, including late charges. It can take months or years to catch up, so they must cut back on consumer spending, damaging the economy long after the blackout ends. The corporate media, hosting advertising for the corporate utility companies, will not report on these long-term consequences. By the way, why are utility companies advertising? It's not like you really have a choice but to use their services. Yet, when they advertise, you pay for those ads in the form of increased utility rates, while they write off the expense of the advertising as a business expense. Another benefit to nationalizing the energy sector would be improving service for those in need. Right now, if energy prices rise, it impacts the most vulnerable most of all, those on fixed incomes, like the elderly, disabled, those on low incomes, or those who have been laid off from their jobs, which is currently an increasing contingent, with 51% of employers planning on layoffs in the near future. If you applied for assistance, then either a government agency or a charity must find money which will be paid to the corporate provider. That assistance may not be available. If it is, what it does is subsidize corporate profits. If the energy sector were nationalized, assistance to those in need could be networked, meaning you could contact the Social Security Administration or the Unemployment Office. They punch in your information, which is forwarded to the utility provider, and the assistance is arranged on the spot. One online form, phone call, or office visit, and you're done. You are assured that your utility service will not be turned off. It would also mean that your bill would not increase by 1,000% because of the spurious law of supply and demand, which is an absolute myth. If the energy sector were nationalized, many of these dangers could be mitigated. Whether I am elected or not, I am going to continue speaking out on these issues intermittently. In my environmental policies, I explain in some detail why our energy sector should be more compartmentalized. I will not repeat all of that, but ask you to read or watch that list of proposals, which are in one post and video. I will say that we are told that massive energy grids serving large areas, our energy grid, would be more secure. Decades of experience have shown otherwise, going back to rolling blackouts and brownouts in the early 1970s, which impacted northeastern states for years. These large energy grids only benefit corporate energy providers in the form of lower cost. They run massive cables between cities instead of building more expensive power plants to serve individual cities. Yet if one city in a region experiences an energy shortage, all the cities in that region have the same problem. Especially in recent years and with current policies, those least impacted negatively are the most financially secure. They also reap the most benefits. They are the most likely to be financially invested in energy markets, so they profit when prices increase. Currently, the most financially secure also get tax breaks for things like buying electric vehicles, which are too expensive for most Americans. The irony is that the same people who will be praised for driving an electric vehicle also have private jets. So they really only do this for tax breaks and public image. The most secure also get tax breaks for installing solar panels. Sure, the same tax breaks are available to all homeowners, but you have to be able to afford a home and to afford the solar panels on top of your mortgage, either paying up front or taking on additional debt. It does mean that that individual household would see decreased energy expenses and be more secure during a blackout, but it would only benefit that one individual household. This is not a new concept to me. When I lived in New Mexico, I considered installing a large solar array on my roof, along with a wind generator in my yard. My idea was that I would offer to my neighbors the chance of hooking up to that array if they paid for the wiring expenses and additional batteries. Blackouts were pretty common in our neighborhood. It would also have resulted in lower energy bills for everyone who's hooked up to that system. So my policy proposal is really an expansion of that. Rather than subsidizing energy for individual, mostly financially secure households for renewable energy, instead invest in more community-sized systems at the housing division or neighborhood level. Solar panels could be placed on each home, or smaller wind generators utilized in some areas, but attached to the electrical grid for that localized area. Pardon me. Batteries could be much larger, inspected and maintained by the local utility service on a regular basis for a regular monthly fee, which would still be much lower than current utility bills. This would reduce the chances of having 20 million people or more at risk of losing utility service because of financial conditions. Building such a system would create hundreds of thousands of living wage jobs. Aside from increasing energy security, the lower utility bills would mean consumers would have more money to spend in the general economy, which would create and maintain even more jobs. Additionally, this would reduce strain on the conventional existing energy grid, making that system more secure and blackouts a less common event. All of this could be done with the current federal subsidies for renewable energy, coupled with eliminating subsidies for the fossil fuel industry. Federal renewable subsidies for rural residents could continue at the individual level based on individual financial need. A system like this would be especially beneficial to Native American and rural communities. The environmental benefits are obvious, though more research is needed for less destructive methods of energy storage. Yet, even with no storage at all, it would help tremendously. The final benefit to this is that it would reduce our dependence on the fossil fuel industry. That would decrease their political influence, making the nationalization of the energy sector far more likely to occur in the future. All of this is common sense. It's not rocket science. The difference is that my policy proposal is intended to benefit people at the community level and those who need the assistance most of all. I have already said my proposal would prioritize low-income areas first and foremost, which would highly benefit minority communities in real terms. While such a system would be expensive, it would be a long-term investment in our society, which would show measurable, real-life return on such an investment. The benefits would continue for decades to come, both directly and indirectly. Please share this article or video. Talk about these subjects widely. Expand awareness of my campaign because it really does help. It is an unfortunate fact of our current system that money is necessary to run a presidential campaign. I won't be getting any assistance from corporate backers. They will fight me every step of the way. So if you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this campaign. Every penny helps. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good day.